What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Nehemiah, aka Neo. And today we're going to be talking about the not Los Angeles Lakers. I'm bugging. This team has taken so much losses, bro. I thought that they were the Los Angeles Lakers, bro. Now we're talking about the Golden State Warriors. I don't know what's happening with them. I tried my best to avoid talking about them because it's crazy to think about it. How this team is just not as good as we thought they were gonna be, especially me. I've always been very down on the Golden State Warriors, but it's not necessarily because one thing or another. I just always thought that a player like Klay Thompson hasn't been looking the best, and I'm not sure about the help around Curry. But last year they did prove me wrong, and I will 100% admit that. I even thought that they were one of the better teams going into this year. I thought that they were definitely a top 5 team, maybe even a top 3 team. But right now, I think a lot of my predictions are looking whack. I think that this is one of the most whack predictions that I ever had. And there are a couple things that we could look at. First off, the offensive rating is this high, but their points per game is much higher. What that means is that they are probably like turning the ball over like something crazy. Oh, whoa, wait. Yeah, they are turning the ball over crazy. They are by far leading the league in fouls, by the way. That's another thing that we're going to talk about when it comes to the defense, bro. Is looking they are fouling a lot. So they actually do average a good amount of turnovers on the opposite side, but they do still do a lot of turnovers. Um, why is their offensive rating so low? I just don't get it, especially because they're literally leading this league in scoring. So let me just look at it real quick. Offensive rating. Right here. Oh, okay. So it's just 100%. Okay. So these guys are probably just playing a lot more than 100%. That makes sense. But yeah. Even though they're still first in leading the scoring league or leading the league in scoring, I don't know why I said it like that. They are still the last team in terms of points per game. This is what I'm talking about. They literally lost a game where they scored 129 points in regulation. Like, what happened? I don't get it. Not only that, but you get a solid game from Klay Thompson. You get a solid game from Wiggins, Kevon Looney, even Draymond Green, and it's just looking really bad for these guys. Now there are a couple of things that we do need to talk about more specifically, and why I think that this team is actually just struggling a lot more than we would, give them credit for. So first things first, this team is by far one of the worst defensive teams, especially in this Warriors core. Even if we look back to like 2015, 2016, these guys are still one of the best defenses or be oh one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. I'm sorry, I'm running on like 4 hours of sleep. And even then, they just still were just by far better than this. Like they are averaging not enough like defensive possessions, and there's a couple key reasons for that. I already have these guys marked down. The rookies are actually not the best in terms of the defensive possessions that they have. They do kind of struggle in terms of being on the court with a guy like Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson for one reason only. They just do not fit the timeline. They just don't understand what's going on. They don't have the experience under their belt, and it really sucks because they do deserve to have time to develop, but for them to be coming off of a championship win and still wanting to compete for another championship, man, it's tough for them. You're asking a lot from these guys to really just be there on defense 100% of the time when they're really just, when they're really just guys who are just coming into the league and who should probably be on more younger rosters. The fact that the Warriors ended up with some of these picks are actually it's very interesting because it does lead them to have like assets, but at the same time, if you're not going to use these guys as assets, it's going to be really hard to develop them at the same time as you really won a championship. They're just on two different timelines. And because of that, it just makes it so that they have to focus on one or the other. And right now, it's obviously the championship. You want to win championships. So I think that these guys just aren't like win now players. But I do think that they could maybe make a trade for someone later on. I don't know. But even then, that's not really like the main problem in terms of the defense. Like, I think that even like guys like Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson are just like walking cones, man. I think that Jordan Poole is honestly, I wouldn't call them bad. I would never call these two players bad, but I do think that they don't provide enough offense, especially with what they're looking like right now. They don't provide nearly enough offense for them to really just be one of the or be like as bad as they are defensively because it doesn't really make any sense now. Like I think that this lineup, if you heard me before, especially going into the playoffs, you heard what I feel about this lineup. I think that this lineup is probably one of the best offensive lineups in the league, if not the best offensive lineup. Oh, hold on. I need to get that. As I was saying, this is definitely one of the best offensive lineups in the league. Don't get it twisted. But the thing about this is that they still aren't the best defensively. Like it's really just Draymond Green and Andrew Wiggins just carrying the defensive load, and more so Draymond Green carrying the team defense, and Andrew Wiggins carrying like isolation defense. That being said, if you have a person like I think Giannis going against this team, a guy like even Paulo, even I'm naming really good offensive big men, but I think a guy like Nikola Jokic also would just tear this lineup apart because they just don't have the means to really just guard him one on one. Even with a guy like Draymond Green or Andrew Wiggins, they both could guard maybe like taller wings, and I would say some forwards. Like I would say that they could maybe even guard guys like Cat from time to time, or like Jared Jackson Jr. But like when we talk about like the elites of the elites, we talk about like the MBs. Like this team is just gonna get cooked on that end, and yeah, I just think it's definitely very weird. Not only that, but they're like sometimes they're not even in these games. Like this Detroit game is kind of wild. Like 114 to 128. Like what? I think Steph didn't wait. Is it the game that Steph didn't play? I'm pretty sure Steph did not. Oh no, he played every game. Oh, it was the game that Clay didn't play. That makes sense. Yeah, nah, it's definitely looking weird for the Warriors. Now, if you ask me, like whether or not this team will bounce back from like the defensive lapses, I would say yes, yes. However, I don't think that it's going to be as good as last year's defense. There are a couple of reasons why. Otto Porter Jr. Well, they let me just say one thing first. They had better wings last year. I don't think that that's really up for discussion. Looking at it like this, like Jamarco Green, these are essentially their wings this year. And while you could be like, okay, yeah, this is definitely solid, I would say even a guy like Otto Porter Jr. is still like more valuable than like all four of these players combined. Like I think that he was definitely more valuable to this offense, way more, like by far, and it's very, very good to see. Also don't look at the offensive rating for this team, bro. Like this is just some bullcrap because a lot of these games, Clay and or not Clay, Steph and or Draymond did not play. So yeah, not only that, but looking at the roster as a whole, like they just did have like a lot better wings, or at least the wings that they had were just better. Like this guy just provides so much to them on the offensive end in the playoffs, man. Like it cannot be overstated. Where is he on this playoff stuff? He's right here. Yep. Even though it's like a 5 point difference, like these were like really good 5 minutes. Not only that, but Gary Payne Jr. or Gary Payne the second is also one of the better spark plugs in the NBA. This was definitely a really good pickup. So I think there are a couple of different things that we could look at and like really look at the Warriors and be like, okay, well, what things should change? One, they are probably going to go for a trade in the deadline. Now, who are they going to go for the trade for? I don't know. I don't expect them to go for like a really big free agent or a really big star. Even a guy like Miles Turner, I don't think that they would make a move for that. I would expect them to make more moves for like wings, especially the bigger ones. I expect it to be more so something akin to maybe like a Siakam type, not Siakam as the player, but more so like a Siakam type of build, as like a player that they would like. That being said, they would definitely have to give up Andrew Wiggins. I don't think that they're going to, But even then, they could just give up stuff for maybe for like a Daniel. Actually, no, that wouldn't make any sense. Like a Harrison Barnes type of guy. But the thing about that, it's still like, okay, they would still have to give up a lot of picks, and they would have to give up a lot of like their younger players. I'm not sure if they really want to give up that. And yeah, I don't know. Not only that, but I think that another really like big thing about this offense is that Curry is like doing some heavy lifting right now. Like he's like balling out right now. Like him shooting 60% from two is crazy. Great. Like he's shooting 60% from two. Like, yeah, you could be like, oh, he doesn't shoot 50% from the field. But that's because he's taking more threes than he does too. It's like he's more efficient from like the 2 point range by far. Like, damn. Well, actually, no, he's definitely more efficient from the 3 point range, but uh, the 2 point range is still something like ridiculous. That's some Giannis numbers, honestly. But looking at the outside of that, even like a guy like Andrew Wiggins, like these two are definitely the most consistent offensive creators in this pretty much offense. Well, Andrew Wiggins could definitely be fit more as a play finisher, but like these guys are definitely not doing enough on the offensive end right now. As I've said, now this is definitely going to change within time. I think that a guy like Jordan Poole is going to get more comfortable in the offense, more comfortable in his role. He's just going to be able to do a lot more with what he has. That being said, if it's true or if it's sustainable that he's like not necessarily the greatest right now, if he's like still like 44% from the field, 32% from three. Like, I'm not sure what to do with this team then, because at that point, you're really just giving up too many things, or you're not getting enough from the people that you already have. Clay Thompson, though, I'm not sure. I've always said something like, I'm not sure how good Clay Thompson is when he's going to be back. I think that people expected him to be like a complete or the completely same player that he was beforehand. But right now, it's looking like yeah, like his shooting numbers have like dipped noticeably, and he just doesn't look like the same player. We need to give him a little bit more time, like maybe 20 more games. But if it's still continue like this, man, I don't know. Like that contract is looking like nasty, nasty. Then again, he only has like 2 more years if I'm not mistaken. So he's probably not gonna get like a yeah. He only has 2 more years. So oh my god, yo, we not finna talk about Clay. I can't talk about Clay Thompson, man. But let me check out the time right now. All right, there's just one thing that I do want to end off with, and that's that the Warriors are committing the most fouls in the NBA, and which means that they are, giving up the most free throws in the league. They would have won this game if they, just didn't foul. Uh, I don't know how JaMychal Green got 5 fouls in 16 minutes, but I guess even Kevon Looney got fouled a lot. Draymond Green, he was fouling. Like, there's only one player on this roster who has like one foul, and he only played like 13 minutes. Even a guy like James Wiseman, he got 3 fouls in 3 minutes. Like, what is happening? I don't get it. How does this happen? This is definitely one of the more defensive lapses that I think are just bugging the Warriors right now. I don't know how you foul this much in the end. Like this is an anomaly too. This is something weird in the Steve Kerr era because like they don't even. Oh whoa. Well, they do be fouling a lot. I didn't realize that actually, huh? How they do foul a lot. That's weird. I never knew that. Huh? Well, I didn't know that the Warriors fouled a lot during the Steve Kerr era. But even then, like this is still an anomaly. They were already 27th last year, and with I think fouls are either going. I'm not sure how fouls are actually moving this year. I probably should check it right now. So fouls have actually went up by almost two in the last two. Well, it has definitely went up by two like the last 2 years. The thing is though, it's still like an anomaly to see a team like the Golden State Warriors jumping this high from one end from the other. Because currently they are the number one by far, and usually it's more so. I really don't even know, but they were actually 21 last year, and like the next highest up or the highest up was like 22, they're averaging like about four more. Like it's crazy, but hopefully they can fix it. I'm not sure what they can do about that. I think that's just more so like a fundamental thing. Maybe you just have to coach it out of the players. But yeah, it's been your boy Nehemiah, aka Neo, and I hope you guys are not panicking to the Golden State Warriors. I'm not. Give him like 10 more games though.